reflecting on another online term, a very interesting interview with some special guests, and is turkey an overrated Christmas dinner? That's coming up on the Heat Exchanger podcast. Okay, and welcome everybody back to the Heat Exchanger podcast, Christmas holiday edition. Today's episode brought to you by the time value of money. It's better late than never. How you doing today, Vince?
I'm doing well. I mean, it's December 27th. Christmas festivities has come and gone, but things are going well. Other than that, lots of plans have been canceled, but overall, the family is doing well. People are healthy. Kids are having fun. Nothing to complain about.
Awesome. Is there a feeling kind of more hollow than Boxing Day, right? Like the hype for Christmas is so high. As like, even as a kid, I could tell you, like even as a kid, Boxing Day, you still feel pretty buzzed about the whole thing because you still got all this new stuff to play with. But like as an adult, is there anything more hollow than Boxing Day where you just wake up on Boxing Day and you're like, it's not Christmas anymore?
Yeah, but I mean, so my youngest daughter, Naomi, was born on Boxing Day. So now that becomes just her birthday celebration. So it helps a little bit. I mean, yesterday we just ran around the house with her birthday stuff, right? My parents came over. We had a dinner. It's a Christmas dinner, but we kind of put it together with her birthday. Kind of sucks for people that has birthday so close to Christmas, like that's just the way it is. But Sam does a really good job trying to separate the two. She had birthday decoration up. She stayed up like till 2 the day before just to get birthday decoration for Naomi. So yeah, I mean, it could be hollow for us. I mean, I don't get that many gifts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But for the kids, it's good. I mean, it's like 2 straight days of celebration, and I have 3, right? So we have so many toys right now. It's just crazy.
Well, a couple of things. Happy birthday, Naomi. First of all. Second of all, way to completely just make me look like a total jerk by saying there's nothing worse than Boxing Day. And you're like, well, actually, my daughter's birthday is on Boxing Day, which of course we did not plan, and I had no idea. So there's that. Regarding your comment about birthdays close to Christmas, yeah, I have a lot of friends with birthdays close to Christmas. Laura's brother, my brother-in-law, Mike, he has a birthday in late December, just a few days before Christmas. And yeah, it's the same thing. Like, he's a 41-year-old man, and he still likes it that Laura's mom, and Laura, to be honest, it's mostly Laura, will go out of her way to make sure that it's not Christmas, right? Like the presents are wrapped in a different wrapping paper, like heaven forbid, right? You have Santas all over your Christmas wrapping paper or something. So you got to keep the presents in a room that's different than under the tree, right? It'd be so convenient. It's right there. You can just put the birthday presents right under the tree. There's nothing wrong with that. No, can't do it. You got to hide them in the closet with the other birthday presents, right? So yeah, I don't know. But here we are, and now I'm just stressed out about the term to come. So super fun. Vince, you got any plans for the holidays?
We did. I mean, we were gonna have my family over, like my extended family over, in a couple or tomorrow, but that would break the law. So I don't know how many people actually would follow the law. Yeah, right? But it was going to be
this is not a political podcast. We don't want to get into that, but
it was like going to be 15 people, and so that we had to cancel it. We were going to have a friends thing come over on New Year's Day. We had to cancel that. So do we have plans? Not really now. We, like, my best friend and his family is going to come over in a couple of days. Tomorrow, my oldest daughter is getting vaccinated, so those are the plans. So
that's big money. Getting vaccinated. Do you have any? First of all, that's depressing, and I'm sorry, but I hope that you enjoy some time off. Do you have any booster shot appointments in the
future? so because Sam is a nurse, right? So she had her booster shot a couple of months ago or last month, I don't know.
Still has all of her toes.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
extra,
And
no
then
extra toes.
I got it a few days ago because
Ooh.
she was able to book it through her hospital for like household members of I guess I don't know, medical workers or whatever.
Poetry,
So
Vince. Poetry. Good job.
yeah, so hey, it's early. So things like that, like I mean, I I don't even know what the statistic is anymore for the booster shots and all that stuff. So, but might as well just get it. So
Yeah, that's fair. So you must have got it right before Christmas then.
yeah, I got it right on the 23rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel okay? No, this is a question I've been asking people because um first of all, what shot did you get? And then did you feel okay?
Yeah, I had to get the Moderna. I got the Moderna the second shot, but the third shot I was supposed to get Pfizer, but then they're like, "Oh, we're low on Pfizer, so they're saving it for younger people because of heart issues for them with Moderna."
Mhm.
So I got Moderna. I felt fine. I was really tired the second day, but the second shot was worse actually.
Yeah.
I had a fever and all that stuff in the second shot. The third shot was fine. It was half the dose of your second shot for Moderna, whereas Pfizer was the full dose. So I was fine. Sam got to the Pfizer. She was fine as well. Just a little bit lethargic the second day. It was okay. Do you plan to get a booster?
Well, yeah, I'll get a booster. I'll get a booster whenever the appointments are not crazy difficult to get. I'll be honest with you, I'm just a little bit done with the whole COVID fear thing. So I'm
Yeah.
got my double vax. I asked because I got absolutely bulldozed by my second shot, like just destroyed. And that might be just because I'm a weak baby, but whatever. I felt like garbage. Um, so yeah, I was wondering because I got Moderna or Windows 11, as they say. Who knows? I got that both times.
Yeah.
My heart still feels okay. Thanks for asking. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm waiting for the appointments to be not like a month and a half out. I guess there's no excuse now that the website's kind of stabilized a bit. I heard that the first couple of days it was just like chaos,
Yeah.
like back to what it was for your second shot or whatever before. And I just roll my eyes at like the lunacy of this whole thing. But now that it's like, there's really no excuse to not just book something. So I'll just book something and go and get it. But
And do you have holiday plans, or did you have plans?
oh, well, now that you've said that gathering with people is illegal, I don't know really what I want to reveal here, Dr. Long. So
Well, you can say you're gathering people. Just don't tell us how many people you're
yeah,
gathering with.
no, it's gonna be small. So no, yeah, for Christmas we had dinner with my mom and dad, just my mom and dad, and it was Laura and I. So my brother Joe, shout out to Joe, and his wife, my sister-in-law Trisha. Trisha is from Bermuda. I don't know if I mentioned that on the podcast before, but she's Bermudan. So that's where their wedding was, for example, in August 2019. It was lovely, beautiful place. So they actually went to Bermuda for Christmas with their 5-month-old baby girl, Ivy May. And because they haven't seen Trisha's family since the wedding. So it's been a couple of years. It's actually been more than 2 years because really the last time they saw Trisha's parents was when we had the local celebration of their wedding because we did a thing in Dundas here, which was like in the fall of 2019. So it's been a minute. So they went for Christmas, and my parents were going to have my dad's side of the family over, my cousins and my aunts and uncles or whatever. And of course, that all got canned. So then we just went to have dinner with them, just the four of us. And then we're just kind of chilling around here. And then on either tomorrow or the day after, we're going to go for New Year's up at my parents' farm for like the property, as it's called, for like 3 or 4 days. We usually do that for over New Year's, and then it'll just be the four of us, and we'll see kind of how that goes. But it should be fun.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
guess. Now the real adventure is that for the first time since we took possession of our cat, Leonardo DiCaprio, he has never been out of the house and has some severe problems being taken in his crate and or like being taken anywhere. And because we don't really want to leave him and like saddle our friends with coming to feed him or saddle Laura's mom with coming to feed him, we're going to try to take him. So Laura's been taking him on practice rides. So she like rams him into his carrier or whatever, and then like takes him out to the car and like drives around the block. And it is not going well so far. So that trip is going to be like 2.5, 3 hours, and that's coming up in a couple of days. So unless he has a serious change of heart, it's going to be like the most stressful drive I've ever seen. It's like driving with kids, right? Right?
Well, kids, I could just put a iPad or tablet in front of them and watch
Parenting.
Paw Patrol or whatever, like is there a way to like put some sleeping pill in
Hey, yes.
whatever?
So we were in Walmart because we wanted to pick up some puppy pads, which are like those like absorbent pads for training dogs, because we want to line his cage with it just in case, or you never know. And while we were there, we saw a thing of like calming treats, right? So like they had the like drug treats, basically, like dope treats. So we bought some, and then Laura tried to feed one to the cat just to see, and the cat wouldn't eat it. So, so
Special brownies for pets.
Picky. We're gonna have to like grind it up and like put it in, I don't know, basically, unless it's in chicken or tuna, the cat's not gonna freaking eat it. So there you go.
Sounds like my kids too. I mean, Naomi doesn't eat very well, so we had to like, she doesn't like meat. She's like, I don't know. Well, we just have to cut up little pieces of chicken and put it in like rice, and then that's her like protein intake. So there you go.
Yeah, it reminds me of Marge Simpson, because Lisa doesn't eat meat, so to get her protein, she sneaks a bit of meat juice into her mashed potatoes. It's like, okay, that sounds good. Well, the good news is we live in 2021 where protein alternatives are very easy to find, I suppose, right? But who knows? All right, so I want to move on from Christmas plans, because everybody's Christmas plans. We were supposed to go see friends today. We were supposed to do stuff, and it all got canceled. Now we want to do online board games, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a little online board gamed out. I got a taste of not online board games for a few months, and now I'm just like, not.
It's not the same, right?
It's not. I mean, it'll still be nice to see everybody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like saying it's not worth the time. It's just like, come on, it would have been so much nicer to. I just love being animated when I play. I just love being animated in general. By the way,
you can be animated online.
I can be animated online, but it's not the same. I can't like.
It's true.
I like banging the table when things don't go my way, like not in any kind of aggressive way, but like, it's just an outlet. You don't get that outlet when you're online. I guess you could bang the table, but it's whatever.
You could punch your laptop or whatever.
I could, but I'm a terrible kicker and I need that laptop for online school next term. Vince. Ooh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Christmas though, so next question for me to you is, you said you don't get a lot of gifts, but you must have got something. So the question is, what is the best thing that you got for Christmas, and what is the best thing that you gave for Christmas? And Naomi's birthday does not count.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually didn't get anything for Christmas. Well, we got gift baskets for my parents with food in it, like chocolate. And then we got like random boxes of chocolate from neighbors that don't really count. So to answer your question, what I gave and what I received, or the best thing that I gave and the best thing I received, it's the same thing, actually, because
Really?
I gave my kids this Lego Boost thing. So like, there's Lego Mindstorm, which is like a Lego like robot. There's a kiddier version of that called Lego Boost, which is still a Lego robot. So I bought it. It was like $200 or whatever. We bought it, and then we put it together on Christmas Day, and it was super fun for myself and for my oldest daughter. So you get to program it using block programming. It's kind of like Scratch, but it's like Lego's own little language. You could get it to say things and whatnot. I had a lot of fun. So
That actually sounds wicked. That actually sounds really cool. So good for you.
how about you? What's the best gift that you gave slash received?
Uh, well, now I'm gonna sound like a brat, right? Because I got a lot of stuff for Christmas. I mean, and I say that because I don't want anybody listening to think that I'm stiffing anyone by saying, oh, I also didn't get very much for Christmas. That's not true, right? Like people were very generous this year. I got a couple of things from my mom and dad. I got like a gift card, and then I got a new floor jack because I guess I've been complaining about floor, like a garage floor jack, so like a 3.5 ton piston jack, and because I've got one, and like we change tires. We have like this thing where in the November and in April or whatever you want to change your tires, we have like this tire changing party. It's called the tire rotation. I just made that up now actually. And like we have like 9 or 10 cars come to the house, and we like change everybody brings their wheels because my dad is a handy guy, and he likes to all my birthdays and Christmas presents since I was like maybe 24 or so have been just like tools and stuff. So I've got quite the collection of like tools. So we got like impact guns and whatever. So we like change over everybody's tires. We're like a little Formula One team out there. It's great. We're throwing them around, and it only takes like 15 minutes a car or 10 minutes a car even. But one thing that is not great is that the floor jack isn't very high. And so like bigger cars, like SUVs, can't even get them off the ground without like putting plywood underneath it or whatever. So anyway, I got a new floor jack. So that's exciting. And he also got me like a workbench shelf so that I have a toolbox that I don't really have anywhere to put it. So now I've got a shelf to put my toolbox on. So that's pretty cool. Laura and I didn't get each other anything. We were deciding to buy each other plane tickets to LA to visit my cousin in reading week. So that's on strong wait and see tactics right now. But that was kind of the plan. And then I got some nice stuff from Laura's mom as well. Just a couple of sweaters and some cool stuff like that. So anyway, it was good. The best gift that I gave was, I think is a tie. So the best gift that I gave that was truly like a present is to my brother, because my brother loves golf. Okay. And the other thing that my brother loves to do is talk about golf. So for the last like 8 months, he's been talking about these wedges. So for those of us that are unfamiliar, so your golf clubs, you got your woods, you got your irons, and then you got your short irons called your wedges. And you can get them in a variety of like lofts. They're for short shots, and they are sold by Costco. Costco has a line of wedges. They're Kirkland signature wedges, which sounds insane that Costco, you would buy golf clubs at Costco, but you can get them. And apparently they're extremely good. Like everybody loves them. And the thing is, you can't get them. You can't get them anywhere because they're never in stock, and they're always out of stock. So Joe's been talking about these wedges probably for like almost 2 years. He's been talking about these wedges and how he wants to get them or whatever. And so like 6 months ago, we were in Costco like in the summer, and I was looking for tennis balls. So we went to like the sports section, and I saw a crate of these wedges. They come in a box, and they're in packs of 3, right? Because of course it's Costco, they have to be in a pack of 3, but like it's the 3 different lofts, and there was only 2 boxes left, or maybe 3 boxes left out of the crate. And I asked the guy when they got these, and he said they got them yesterday, and they're all gone already, but there was one there. So I just got one. And then we sat on these wedges for like 6 months waiting for Christmas, because my brother's birthday is in April. So the first thing was Christmas. So we waited and then gave it to him. So he was very excited about his Costco wedges. The funniest gift, and I know I'm just waxing poetic, so I'll hurry up. The funniest gift that I got for sure was I found it with Christina Trollope. Shout out Christina Trollope. We were hanging out in the ChemEng office one day as good faculty and staff members do, not working. And we found this item on Indigo, which wasn't in stock. We found it on Amazon. This is not a political podcast, and my opinion is not reflective of that of chemical engineering or McMaster University or Dr. Vincent Lung in any way, shape, or form. But my dad is not a huge Justin Trudeau fan. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. There was a book on Amazon called Why Trudeau is a great leader and deserves respect. And the book, Vince, is blank. So I spent $12 on Amazon buying a book. It's by this it's by a guy with a PhD in poli-sci too. That's the best part. So I bought a book, and it's a 100-page blank notebook that says on the front, why Trudeau is a great leader and deserves respect. And I gave it to my dad for Christmas, and he was crying. He was laughing so hard. So there you go. That's the gifts I'm most proud of, for sure.
Thank you for your disclaimer.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even necessarily Vince, reflect my opinion either. But here we are.
And I'm hoping that you could get to go to LA sometime.
Yeah, my cousin moved there about a year ago. I don't know. It's been a weird one with him. He's been around. He's one of my super cousins, so we're very close. I don't know if I've ever talked about my super cousins before. So you're smiling.
Do you tier list your cousins?
No, but let me explain. Okay,
this is the S level.
I don't mean that he's an S tier cousin for sure. He's a great guy. First of all, we should mention that we are not doing this in person like we did on our last episode in my office, because we're all terrified of the Omicron. He said semi-sarcastically. But yeah, you're smiling. My super cousins are not based on how much I like them more than another person. It's based on the fact that my mom's sister married my dad's brother. So I have a set of cousins on both sides of the family at the same time. That is super. Right. So it's a little bit unique. Actually, I should say that my mom and dad got married second. So it's not like that they were copying my parents or whatever, or vice versa. But yeah, so I have a set of cousins that are around the same age as me. We were kind of growing up. I've got two that are older than me, and then one that's just 1 year younger than me, and then one that's maybe 5 years, 6 years younger than me. And we've all been, and my brother is 4 years younger than me. So the six of us were all very close, because every family gathering, they would show up at both, right? So you go to a Christmas on your mom's side, you go to Christmas on your dad's side, and they're there. You go to thanks, and I didn't really even understand this until I was 9 or 10 years old, right? I didn't even understand that this was not normal. You just kind of don't really clue into it. But yeah, anyway, so Ben, his name is Benjamin, is one of my super cousins, and they moved to New York a few years back, and then New Jersey, and then they went to LA, and he's currently in teachers college down there in LA. So we wanted to go visit them, but don't know if that's going to happen. I really, really hope it does.
Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed. So
yeah. We ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go. I mean, why don't we just reflect a little bit about this past semester? I know we took a long hiatus from our student panel till now, because this semester has been quite busy.
It also took me 12 hours to edit that student panel together. So let's
that sound quality was
variance in sound quality. It's like our interview with Kyle, where my headset was making me sound like a robot for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyways, so Jake, how did your semester go?
My semester went fine. And I mean that in every possible sense of genuineness or whatever. So fine is the right word. It wasn't terrible. I was pretty pleased with live attendance, particularly in the second year class, so numerical methods class. It was pretty steady in-person attendance throughout the year. I would say the lower end 20, 25 people, upper end 40, 45 people. And this is even into weeks 10, 11, 12. So into the end, which is by no means a huge number, don't get me wrong. But it's not insignificant, I guess, when classes are optional, and then another 20, 25 people on the online call. So anyway, anybody that was in the 2 E04 class and that made it to even if you just made it to one class, and even if it was just online, whatever, you just have my appreciation, I think, for making that a little bit less painful. we had a good time. I don't think the students had a particularly good time on the exam, which I feel a little bit bad about because I thought that I prepared them a little bit better. So it's maybe a little bit on me, but whatever. It is what it is. It's fine. And at the end of the day, people did well in the course, and I'm quite pleased with how that went. It was pretty much the best, except for last year, which I think should be thrown out, just because of like the quote unquote innovation with assessment and like doing stuff. I think this year was the best performing year that I've had. And it might be again a little bit because there were no like midterm tests, but there was a real final exam, and it wasn't a joke. And they still, the exam, there were people that did really well, and that's good. So 4N, the economics and safety course, because we did talk at reading week. So the second half of the course was good. I think it's a couple of things talking to people that didn't really work. Like the tutorials we do like these group meetings and tutorials, and we were doing this online, and the in-person tutorials, those group meetings I always found them very, very valuable because I could like chat with people and they could chat with each other, and the energy in the room was pretty good, and people are bringing coffees for their teammates. They like come out with the Van Hoot or the whatever, the 4-pack of coffees on at 8:30 in the morning on a Thursday. And like, everybody's like kind of just, it's almost like a routine kind of social hour or two where you have to get some work done on an assignment or whatever. And I think that was just completely lost in the online, like completely. And I think talking to a few people, they're like, tutorials shouldn't be in group meetings. They should just be like TAs going over practice problems. And I'm like, well, then that means the tutorials just spectacularly failed to deliver the experience that they were intended for. And that they have in prior years up until this year. Right. So anyway, we had the option of doing in person, and then people kind of voted against it. I was just like, do you want to try it? And then it was like, some people were like, sure, I'd show up, and some people didn't. So I just said, screw it. We'll do them online just because it's easier for everybody. Attendance in 4N was not good in person, but the people that were there were outstanding, and they were engaged, and they asked lots of questions. And I really, really appreciate that. So if you're listening to the podcast, then you got that going for you for sure. And then the online attendance was fine. The performance in 4N04 was good. The projects were good by and large. I was pleased. How about you, Vince?
So the semester went as I thought it would go, I guess. In terms of, I lectured fully virtually. I don't have as many group work as you do in 4N. So in 3I, we have labs, I guess. The in-person labs were fine, other than some instrumentation malfunction. So our sensors and our heaters sometimes were wonky, but other than that, students seem to be engaged in person. It was hard to gauge the engagement for the online lab groups because they weren't doing the labs, so they were simply taking data. But the performance wise, they did fine. The students were putting together good lab reports and good case studies. But yeah, like I enjoyed just seeing students in the labs and being able to walk around and actually do things together with the students, because I didn't realize how much I missed that. I think like theoretically I knew I missed that, but then actually being in the lab was a big thing. Overall, yeah, I think students did well. We had a real exam this time. Like last time I had just projects for 3I last year, but this year we had an exam, and things went well. The tricky part was just making more versions of it. So I had like 5 versions for every question, and then each students get, like, they don't just get version 1 of the exam, they get version 1 of question 1 and version like 3 of like question 2, et cetera, et cetera. So like there's permutations.
Did they know that?
They know it
now.
when they they do know now, right? Like so they received like different Excel files of different data for each of the question, right? So,
okay.
So that's how like Avenue is an okay learning management system. Like I think it's pretty decent. You just have to know how to use it, right?
Sure.
It just takes a long time setting it up at the back end, but I mean, there's nothing really to complain about. So I think it worked well. I don't think there's a lot of cheating going on. At least my TAs didn't catch anything. So that was good, I guess. That was the biggest concern in terms of like online assessment, virtual assessment. But yeah, overall it was good. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, it's not the same still. Like I wish we were in person, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I think the interactions with people are important. For me, it was I think the thing that was the best was office hours. I don't know, like when people come to office hours or just, you know, the in-person tutorials for 2E4 were not terribly well attended, but the people that were there, I had some good chats with them, and you feel, you just, I don't know whether or not it's true, whether or not it's self-serving. You just feel like you can make an impact when they're right there in front of you, and you can like see them get it, or you can break COVID protocol and go for like fist bump when like, oh, they get their code to work for the first time in like 40 minutes, and you're just like, boom, all right, now get out. I got somebody else to deal with here, and then they're all like happy, and then they leave. It's just it's totally different, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to helping people online, which is still good, but different. Um, the concept of students contacting you at all hours of the day and night, though, is something that persists, and something that I tried to be a little better about, but I don't think I did a very good job. So, oh
Yeah.
well.
And I was actually wondering that because, like, I mean, again, this is not a political podcast, but they put in that law, right, about like
Oh yeah,
you're not
your
supposed to
boss
get
can't.
emails after whatever. But what if your students have no filter? Like, you can't be like, oh, like I can't answer your email or your Teams message after a certain time. I mean, we could put in those restrictions and just tell students, but then we'll hear about it in our teaching evals, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of teaching evals, I was a little bit devastated that the turnout on my courses are just so low. Like I don't incentivize. I know that there's like things that you can do, like, oh, if 80% of the class does the teaching eval, then you all get a bonus point, or, whatever, do the teaching eval and send me the screenshot and you get a bonus point or whatever. And I refuse. I do have them do a course reflection that is unofficial and will not be used in any of my faculty performance reviews or whatever, and they do get a bonus point for that. But it's a little bit more in depth than the teaching eval, and it's more about their learning than it is about my teaching, so to speak. But like, I don't know, I feel like the turnout on the teaching evals was low, which is either a good thing or a bad thing for the macro statistics, right? It can be a little bit double-edged there, right? So we'll see. But
yeah, I don't know. I think engagement overall was kind of low, especially in the upper years in our department, right? So
yeah. Now, the one other thing to mention quickly is that this last term, whether it was good or bad online, was our accreditation cycle visit. So we had the accreditation team come to our department. Just for those of us listening that are interested, one of the requirements for you to get your engineering license in Ontario or in Canada is to graduate with what is called an accredited engineering degree, or you have to pass the set of full technical examinations provided by Professional Engineers Ontario in the case of Ontario. And McMaster Engineering is an accredited program. It's reviewed by the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board, which comes and reviews all of your course materials, interviews all your faculty, interviews your students, interviews your staff. And they also review your tests and grades and all that sort of stuff. And this happens, if you're lucky, this happens once every 6 years. It's a 6-year stamp, kind of like getting your license renewed or whatever. And so this November, in mid-November, was our visit, and the visit is 4 days, and it's like an intense 4 days. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds. I just want to say, we don't have the final report or whatever, but I just want to say that I think our department did a really good job, and that I think we did pretty well. And I think that the visitors were pretty pleased. Of course, there's room for improvement, as there always is in certain things. We have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, right? But overall, I thought it was good. So,
yeah, and just to add to that, I mean, shout out to Jake. He did the lion's share of the work for our department, and then I mean, we had a team. I mean, I helped a little bit. Shalir helped a little bit, and then Christina. Again, shout out to her again.
Oh yeah, that's number 2. She deserves it though. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She did a lot of work on the admin side. It was crazy. But just to give our listener an idea of like what goes into it. The year before that, we have to pretty much capture all the material that we give to students, and also all the material that students give to us. So all the assignments, everything that they turn in. So we call it the capture year. We have to write a report, but we do that every year, even though it's not like our accreditation year. We have to write a report about how students have met expectations or exceed expectations in different graduate attributes. But the capture year, the special piece is that we have to take in all the assignments from students, and then for each category, for each graduate attribute, we have to have 4 examples of the assignments. So that was a lot of work. And then we have to do a lot of paperwork and fill out a lot of like questionnaires and all that stuff, which was all of Jake's summer this past year. So that was fun.
It sure was. It sure was.
Yeah. And yeah, so the undertaking was quite large, and this was a weird year because everything was online, which I like, personally speaking, I think is more intimidating because the people that were coming in to do the accreditation had a lot more time to review our material than the normal.
That's so true. Like usually they come in and they go into a room and there's like, towers of files and papers around, like you're in a crazy, mad doctor's office or whatever, and they can like leaf through it and like ask you to print stuff off. But yeah, they've had access to this stuff for months ahead of time, right? So anyway, I just want to emphasize, like usually they get it day of, or like when they're there, but now they had the chance to like go over it all in detail. So it shouldn't be considered a bad thing if you did a good job, but it definitely just opens more doors for criticism, right?
Yeah. And this was Jake and I first time through this process. Even though we're talking about like previous, accreditations, we were not part of any of that because we weren't even employed at that time. So
to be fair, first accreditation, or my first accreditation, was 2015, but it wasn't participating as a leader in any way. I taught a course in 2015. I taught for N04. And so I had to provide all of the capture samples for N04. And I had to do all of the accreditation stuff. And I thought that was what I had to do every year. And I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of stuff. But as it turns out, no, it's only once in a while, right? But yeah, I remember the chaos, right? I remember I went to the ChemEng office to print off some course packs because Dr. Tom Harlan was doing a guest lecture, and he had a note pack that he wanted me to print all the students. And, it was like, I don't know, 5 pages of slides or 10 pages of slides. And I had to print like 100 copies. So I went to like the copy machine and asked, I can't remember who was there at the time. It was probably, I don't know, it might've been Linda. I don't know if it was Linda or who came before Linda, but regardless, I went to do this, and like the look on their face was just like, are you kidding me right now? Like I need this copy, or I need just get out. And I was like, okay. So I just went and printed them in the underground and paid like $100. So, whatever. But yeah, it's chaos. It's chaos. The only thing that made it not chaos this year was the fact that it was online, so you couldn't see all the behind the scenes chaos. It was all through Teams chats and private calls and that sort of thing. So, but
I actually think that's better. Like I don't know what the CEB is going to be thinking about, but I think that the electronic versions makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think that and we were kind of pioneers, right? Like, forced adaptation by a long way. I don't think that anybody would have preferred to figure it all out this way, but McMaster really, it was the first fully online, as to the best of my knowledge, at least I'm kind of speaking at the side of my mouth, but fully online review. And so like the meeting setup structure and stuff. And I can't imagine that not becoming, at least learning from that and using some of that knowledge as the standard going forward. Cause you're right. It's better, right? Like
Better than piles and piles of paper.
For sure. Electronic document capture for this sort of thing there's no question that's the way it should be, right?
And it's just better documentation going forward if they want to keep track of stuff. But anyways.
So last topic for chats before we move on to we have super secret guests for our interview this episode. So we're going to keep that secret. And it's not because we don't know who it's going to be yet. We do know who it's going to be, but it's going to be a surprise. So we'll get to that segment in a second. But our last topic is where do you see things going with the Omicron?
Yeah, I mean, literally, my question is this: can it get worse?
Can it? Yeah. For those of us listening, Vince and I have a program written out of talking points, and Vince put this one down. Actually, Vince made most of the program, to be perfectly fair. And this is just says Omicron ? Could it get worse ? So that's where we're at. So I'll ask you your own question, Vince. Can it get any worse?
I think as a faculty member, especially one that's teaching in the winter term, I think this upcoming term will be the worst term yet. Because we have no idea what's happening. Because I mean, the school tells us that we'll be back to fully in person in January 17th, but I don't think anybody believes that.
Horse shit.
Again, just a reminder that the opinion of this podcast does not reflect in any way the opinion of McMaster University. But I think that's what gets me in terms of the uncertainty, right? So just to give you context, I teach this course called IBHS 2P03. There is a large lab component to it. We hired a lab tech for this course this past year, and we just need to know whether or not we could have students in the lab. What makes it more complicated with this course is that our labs is situated in the hospital. So I think that's a double whammy because the hospital functions separately to a certain extent from the rest of the university. So even if the university says, oh, it's good, and then they're like, oh, the hospital number is not good, then we might not even be in. So that uncertainty really kills me. Last year we did fully virtual labs where we just paid this company that have these like pretty much video games of labs, but we can't do it this year because we spent all our budget on buying lab stuff already because what we're thinking about in person. So now we got to figure out, like, do we videotape things or whatever? Like, so that's the biggest thing for me in terms of like, I don't know. And then it's like, I have all the assessment planned out already in terms of like midterms, exams, and whatnot. But if we go back virtually, that has to be scrapped again. So right now I have one version of the course outline for 2P03, for fluids, and even like for this new course 2PX where we have in-person design studio. I think that one we could transfer online pretty seamlessly, but still, it's just the whole uncertainty, right? And then now students are emailing us. It's like, is there going to be an online version of this? I'm in this country. I can't come in. Things that. It's all that stuff, right? And I'm like, well, we were told that it's supposed to be in person, so I could only tell you what I know right now. So yeah, you have to come to Hamilton, right? Because the midterms are going to be written in person, which again, I don't think anybody believes at this moment, given the numbers we're seeing in Ontario. I think we're at 10,000 yesterday or the day before, but I don't know. How about you? What are your thoughts on the Omicron?
I just hate it. I'm a little bit done. By the way, Omicron is the worst Greek letter. Okay. It's just the letter O. There's nothing interesting about it. All right. If you were to choose a letter to use in a fancy math equation, it would be the last one. So, a lot of people don't even know Omicron exists as a Greek letter. This is garbage. Yeah, it's gonna suck. I fully anticipate that it will be back to just last year, just like, fully online. I'll be streaming from my office. I'll have to have multiple screens of the chat going. I'm not going to be able to see anybody in person. The campus is going to be a ghost town. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I don't think I am. So yeah. And the other thing that comes in when you say people are emailing you. So yes, of course, people email me, not just individual course wise, but as undergrad chair, I get like all the people that have issues in our program, even if they're not taking my courses, and that's fine. And I like helping them with that. But a lot of the time they don't like the answer that I have to give them, which is like, well, if it's in person on the 17th, then it's in person, the end. Right. Yeah. Because we support our faculty unconditionally with whatever they decide to do. And I would like to do the same thing. The thing is, though, is that if we are already going to be spending the first week online, where does the argument go that having the course online is not possible, right? Like, obviously you can make the argument that the course is better when it's in person, but we're already forced to start online anyway. So like the infrastructure is clearly there. And the know-how of the faculty is clearly there. And I'm not saying that we would like claim ignorance. It's like, oh, they don't know how to record a class anymore. That's dumb. But at the same time, the precedent becomes, well, it's obviously possible because you're going to do it because you have to. So like, why don't you just continue to do it? And I'm really afraid for the future of education. First of all, I'm just afraid for the future of everything because by the time we're in our 10th wave, and I'm not speaking sarcastically, like by the time that we're, in 2024, when this is still happening, okay, then I don't even know, but let's just say, for example, that it just disappears. September 2022, it's over, it's done somehow. I am afraid of what my job looks like going forward because I feel more like a content provider on Twitch than I do a university instructor. My interfacing with the students feels more like informal. Not that I have a problem. I'm a pretty informal guy, but like it's different and their opinions are different. And one of the key skills, and if you're listening to this and you're in engineering at McMaster or otherwise, you need to understand one of the key skills of being a good engineer is to ask questions and to give your opinion or to provide solutions, even if the solution is wrong. But you need the confidence to be not sitting there silently, because the time that you sit there silently when you should have asked the question is the time that somebody gets hurt when you're in the job place or whatever. If you don't know how to work a piece of equipment, or if you don't know if this calculation is right, or if you think you see a mistake but you're not sure. And it's really easy to just be passive in an online learning environment, and that's not really the intent of the engineering education. It's to be active and to be involved with your own education and the education of everybody around you. And I am afraid that we will just be kind of online or train a bunch of people that are able and willing to passively go through the degree and not really, get as much out of it as we want. Like I'm trying to make this mostly about us, but it's also a little bit on the student side of things too. It's just so easy, right? Yeah. And I've had lots of friendly chats with people now that courses are over, and like they feel the same way. They don't understand. Like a lot of people, they don't understand how people are just like, some students like to just sit there and not engage and not participate or just not go at all. Right. And that's always been an option, to not go at all. But what you can't not do is you can't not go to Thode and study for the exam with your friends. You can't not go to the lab in 2PO3 or otherwise and actually work with the equipment and get the technical know-how and talk to the techs and whatever. But now you can not do that. Right. So anyway, I am, I made the mistake. I made a mistake, Vince, of thinking in September that things were turning a corner. And I have learned the hard way that you can't really get your hopes up right now. So,
yeah. And like I completely agree with you. I think on the COVID side, I think sooner or later we just need to learn how to live with this, because it's gonna be an endemic. It's not gonna end in terms of, like, COVID will be around for a very long time. At least that's what I'm thinking, right? And we just need to learn to live with it. It could be booster shots or whatever, I don't know. But I think on the education side, what really concerned me was the when we were talking about the lab courses, the attendance in, let's just say, our 4L lab courses, where students are learning good hands-on skills, that is important as an engineer. A lot of students chose not to go into the lab because they have that choice. And what I worry about in our education system is that moving forward, the students are going to demand a hybrid approach.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's one part of the equation, right? My fear is that the educators, or not so much, the educators individually, but the school kind of succumbing to those demands, where it's like, oh yeah, like, well, why not provide this? Because now it's more accessible to everybody. And I understand accessibility, right? And I think that's important. However, I think we need to be stringent in giving permission for people to have this hybrid learning, because I think ultimately the hands-on skills, that's very important, working in the labs, or just being in an actual group physically. I think that's important. But to your point, Jake, like, just the social interactions and things like that, you cannot replicate online, right? Like, especially for chemical engineers and whatnot. We're not sitting behind a computer and just coding, although sometimes we do that. A lot of the people that graduate from our program are working in plants or on site, and all of those things, that they have to interact with operators, they have to interact with technicians, they have to interact with other engineers. And if they could go through our degree without having those type of interactions, or real in-person interactions, then like you said, I don't think we're preparing our students well for the workplace, so totally. for real life, right?
I mean, people, there seems to be a bit of a misunderstanding about the purpose of a university education. Like, there is nothing, and I saw this on a few reflections actually for 2E04. It's just like, there's a question on the 2E04 reflection, says, what's the least important thing you learned in 2E04, right? Just because it's helpful to calibrate for the future, just to know if a topic didn't resonate. And a couple of times I saw, like, oh, such and such, because I could just watch a YouTube video on that, right? And I laugh, because you can watch a YouTube video on everything. You could learn the entire chemical engineering degree on YouTube if you want. The purpose of a university education is threefold. It's to give you exposure to the technical content in a structured environment. Okay, that's number one. So the technical content, you can get that on YouTube, but at least at university, you get it in a sequence, and you get it with a certain, expertise, like describing it to you. So there's that. The second thing that it gives you is it gives you the social and teamwork and time management experience, right? Like, it gives you that ability to actually it gives you that ability to actually interface with each other. And I had a former student even drop by the house a few days ago before Christmas time, like on the 22nd or something, that's working at DeFasco. And they were saying, like, the former engineer in their position didn't get along with the operators, because the operators have been there for 40 years. They know the plant inside and out. And this engineer comes in and is just like, I know all this stuff, like, I'm an expert, and like, just completely torched their relationship with the operators before it even started, because of being a pompous prick, to be totally, I'm paraphrasing the student, but like, that's something that we try to instill, this, like, the ability to interface with people of different walks of life, that, by the way, know more about the plant than you always. So there's always that, right? And the third thing that our degree provides is vetting. Like it's a stamp of approval saying, yes, you know this stuff. You can't get that on YouTube, right? But in order to do that, you need to show up, right? You need to go to the lab. You need to do the stuff. You need to build the breadboard. You need to write the test. You need to not cheat. You need to not let your friends do your assignments for you. And the only way to really, and I used to be completely against it, right? And I used to give optional take-home exams and anything, but like I've realized that over the last 2 years that the only way to really feel good, which is my obligation as a professional engineer, right? To feel good about like the approval that I'm giving on this degree is to sit people down and to give them a test and to make them write the test. As much as test anxiety and accessibility and all that stuff needs to be like accounted for, it really is the only bastion of safe like assessment left. That's all that's left. Which is depressing, but that's what it is. So,
and to circle back, I think the whole CAB experience or the accreditation process kind of highlights that, right? Like what we got a lot of questions about assessment, especially in terms of COVID and virtual, and as Jake was saying, as you were saying, that we have the responsibility as an accredited program to make sure that the students that go through this program are prepared and are ready to be at least an EIT, right? So
yeah, engineering intern, EIT, for those of us not familiar with the lingo, but
engineering in training.
Sorry?
Engineer in training.
No, not anymore.
Is it engineer in intern?
Yeah. So here's a fun story. I can't remember who it was, but it was like 4N 2017, maybe 2018, where I was referring to it as engineering training because that's what it was. But they changed it because the PEO is extremely strict. You're looking it up. I can see him typing. He's typing on the computer right now.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I tell you.
IT
so they changed it,
intern.
and I learned this from a student because on their co-op, fun story, the PEO doesn't want anybody to use the title engineer. Like the word engineer should not be used unless you have a license or unless you're one of the specific things like you drive a train or you work on vehicles for the Army. I think those are the other two titles where you're allowed to use, like it's legal to use engineer. And so they changed it so that it's engineering intern, so that it's not the word engineer. And they actually made the company, I can't remember the student, and I also can't remember the company, which is probably a good thing, but they made the company reprint the business cards of all of their co-op students because all of their co-op students had EIT, engineering training, on it. And they actually made them all reprint them with engineering intern because they weren't allowed to have those business cards because they weren't allowed to use the title engineer. And I thought that was, first of all, hilarious and a little bit over the top. But yeah, so anyway, engineering intern now, EIT. They kept the acronym, but they changed the words. So there you go. The more you know, Dr. Lung. Really quick, little fun thing. What I want to take a bet here. What is the next Greek letter that is going to be a variant of consequence for the COVID-19 pandemic? So what's the next? Because like obviously they're the Delta variant, but there's a lot of Greek letters between Delta and Omicron, right? There's Eta, Epsilon, Zeta, Theta, like all these different letters if you look at it kind of in order. And I would imagine that they're going in order, but the variant that actually makes the news and is big. So I've got here a quick list of letters that come after Omicron in the Greek alphabet. Okay. And I want you to choose the one, and I'm going to go in order so you can choose how many like it goes. And I want you to choose the one. Okay. So we've got pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, and omega.
I don't think they're going to do pi because it's confusing.
It's just the pi variant. That's what I would choose if I got to choose. But
yeah, the pi variant.
Yeah,
I think the next one that sounds cool would be Sigma,
the Sigma
but
variant. Yeah,
but they'll probably gonna do Rho.
the Rho variant. You think so? That's only a couple letters away. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
like I mean they were going in alphabetical order until Omicron for whatever reason, right? So
They weren't going in alphabetical order.
they were
Oh,
going
they
alpha,
were.
beta,
Okay.
yeah, right. So I mean, I could see pi, but
So that, but pi is the next one, right?
I
Like
know
the
the pi is
next. You're just saying
no,
like
no,
we got another one
but
coming.
they don't call it. They don't give it a letter until it is a variant of concern.
Oh, okay. But then
Because
but then they choose the letter like based on.
no, because they're like, oh, they don't want new because like it's very confusing. It's not a new
The new
COVID
variant. That's hilarious.
and then apparently they didn't choose C because like or XI because a lot of like
People don't know how to pronounce it.
no, because of a lot of Chinese people will have that
Oh,
last name and the WHO were concerned about that, right? Like so
so what
that's why
about,
they went Omicron. So
that's lame. Like what about the Lambda variant? Lambda variant's pretty cool.
there was a Lambda variant, no?
I don't remember it. Or the Kappa, the Kappa variant? That sounds,
I don't know.
that sounds dope. So I'm imagining it's going to be Phi.
You think it's
I think it's going to be
five?
Phi, or I think it's going to be Tau.
Yeah.
I like the Tau variant.
It'll be interesting once we get to Omega what they're gonna start doing.
Yeah, I don't. Well, first of all, I don't think they should ever use Omega. Omega has a pretty negative, like connotation, right? Or powerful
Yeah.
connotation. Let's put it that way. A lot of people recognize the Omega as being like all powerful, right?
Well, except for omega-3, eggs.
No, that's good stuff. That's
Yeah.
that's those are the top of the line eggs. Don't
Yeah.
tell me that omega-3 eggs aren't the most expensive egg that exists, man. Get out of here. All right, cool. So let's take a break. We've been at this for a while. It's been nice to catch up. Let's take a break and come back with our interview, and then we're going to talk about some Christmas activities after that. Okay, we are here and very excited to be joined by some very, very special guests, right, Vince? Very special.
Right.
Guests.
Yeah, and a special location as well.
A special location, the Lung Household Living Room, is where we are recording this. Yeah. Having just got stabbed in Settlers of Catan Jr., I am thrilled to introduce our guests, which are our wives. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Laura Neese. I'm Sam Lung.
and we have not practiced this, so this is going to be fun. All right, so you guys are here. Can you tell us just maybe a little bit about yourself? What do you do for work, and how did you meet your husband?
We met at a Halloween party in 2009, I think. And surprise, Jake was not in a Halloween costume because he's not really into that. And yeah, we basically met through mutual friends at this party, and that was about it. And I work for McMaster University, so we commute to work together. And
it's the
pretty much it.
4 minutes I look forward to the most every day. Also, in that Halloween party, Laura was dressed as the 7 deadly sin of vanity. So there you go.
True.
Yeah.
I am an ICU nurse. Well, I was an ICU nurse for 13 years. And I have recently switched jobs, so now I work in the recovery room. Vince and I met, I don't know, like 19 years ago.
Ooh,
we met
2003.
2003. We met at church, and my first impression of him was that he asked a lot of questions, and that is still very true now to this day. Yeah, we've been to MAP together, or we went through university together.
We went to prom together.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did
he ask you to prom? Speaking of asking the questions.
I was supposed to go to his prom, but then I had to fly out of the country that night of his prom.
So I went to her prom.
Oh.
So I didn't go to his prom.
Okay.
Yeah. And promposal wasn't a thing back then.
No.
But you're the one that asked the questions, Vince. I'm just trying to connect the dots here.
Yeah.
And we've been married for 11 years.
and we have 3 kids together.
There you go. And you might hear some of them running around upstairs.
The kids are goated. It's official.
Yeah.
It's official.
All right. So we're just going to have some questions about your husbands. So, Laura, can you tell us the courses your husband teaches and describe them in one sentence? Or try to your best abilities.
Okay. So I know there's optimization, which I think it's just to make everything more efficient.
Pretty good.
I don't exactly know what that entails. Probably some calculations.
Me neither.
There's a safety plant design, and economics is somewhere in there. I don't know how that goes together, but okay.
Because it doesn't. It doesn't. Good job. There you go. That's the perfect description.
There is. I'm thinking of the one in the summer. It was a design course, like a drawing design, where they would, I don't know, model parts or something. I know there's big data. Don't know what that's about. Data that's big. I don't know.
Hey.
Oh, what am I missing
You know
here?
what they say about big data?
Big minds. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. There you go.
Oh shoot. Process control?
Not well. I do. Yeah, I do. Biomedical control.
Oh yeah, the iBiomed one.
Good times that one. We had fun,
That was the process loop thing. Except you're using it for body parts.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, that's good enough. You missed numerical methods. I'm disappointed
yes,
in you.
yes.
I'm disappointed. That's what Gaussian
You've done that one
elimination.
for a long time.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
Well, he teaches 2G communication.
Wrong.
Rip.
He taught 2G.
He taught. So he's taught that for many years. That's technical communication. So it's about how to communicate in technical terms.
That's good.
For
That's
interviewing, how to interview and how to write emails and
That's why he's
It's
so
true.
good at the podcast, because he's a good interviewer.
he will be teaching fluids, which is talks about the movement of fluids.
Okay.
What else? He taught thermodynamics,
It's true.
which talks about the movement of heat.
I mean, if you could. So
The dynamics of heat.
That's heat transfer.
That's heat transfer.
Oh, shoot.
Let me tell you, if you can describe thermodynamics, then you deserve a position.
You got to be.
Yeah. And I'm sure that everybody has a great grip on fugacity after Vince taught it. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
One more.
he taught Ember,
Oh.
which is a bridging program for high school students going into first university over the summer.
Not a real course.
Yeah,
He taught it.
It's a program. Yes. Yep. There you
Pretty
go.
good. Yeah. He also teaches an iBiomed course.
Yeah.
Teaches 2PO3.
Do you know what that is?
I don't.
No. Yeah. Genetic engineering.
It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Second year genetic engineering, that's where they learn to be like crazy mad scientists. It's fun. Okay, so speaking of mad scientists and genetic engineering and buzzwords, Sam, we'll start with you and then move to Laura second. So can you tell us about a time that your husband bored you to tears talking about engineering related stuff?
I don't think he deliberately talks to me about engineering a lot of the times, but there has been an occasion where I was having issues, I was having trouble falling asleep, and so I asked him to teach me something while we were in bed so that he could put me to sleep so I could fall asleep easier. Does that count?
No, that's perfect. So
I have
now
no
the
idea what
question
he
is-
talked about.
Okay. So now I gotta ask Vince, what did you try to teach her?
I don't even remember.
You put yourself to sleep.
Probably instrument measurements. Probably measurements, yeah.
I don't know how that could put somebody to sleep. That's easily the most engaging class that exists. And that was one that we missed in the last segment too.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about measurements.
I mean, I have recordings of measurements now because, you know, so we could just play them on loop.
It's like white noise.
Yeah.
They play it to put babies to sleep.
Yeah.
Laura, what about you?
I don't know about boring, but on our second date,
Nothing is ever boring.
you went on and on about polymers.
Yep.
You were very excited about that course. First, I guess you were taking it at the time. And I don't exactly know what you were talking about, but you were very excited about it, which made me very excited about it.
Hey,
And
more than I could say for most of my
On a
classes.
second date.
on a second date
It's called a
too.
power play. Okay? When you know yourself.
But yeah, I honestly didn't know anything about polymers, and then I left knowing that it was something about plastic extrusion, and that's about it.
Is this 4X?
That's 4X. I was taking it as an undergrad at the time. Mike Thompson, represent. I would also like to point out that in that date, Laura ordered the arrabbiata gnocchi. I asked her if she likes spicy food.
Oh, that was Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. And I asked her if she likes spicy food. She said, not really. I said, are you sure you want to get that? You said, yes. And then you ate 2 bites of it and didn't even pack it up and take it home. It was a complete waste of my money. So,
Okay,
not that
to
I
be fair,
hold a
to
grudge.
be fair, I was like crying, sweating.
Oh, I know you were.
Like everything was happening.
I thought you were sweating because of the
My
riveting
nose was
conversation.
going like it was.
That polymer conversation.
Yeah,
Right?
it gets you emotional.
All right. So, I guess we'll go with Laura first now. What does your husband spend the most time doing for their job?
Answering emails for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. Like sometimes we'll be on the couch watching a show and he'll be like, "Oh, just a minute," and he'll go get his laptop and come out and then just start typing away. I'm like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, just getting rid of a few emails there, like just clearing it out, answering people." I'm like, "Okay."
I wish I could tell you that they were all student emails too, but they're not.
No.
So, what a boring job. Oh.
Well, you do have a lot of administration stuff on your end. So.
What a boring job.
How about you, Sam?
Definitely emails. A lot of emails. All the way up until 11:30 midnight, his phone will go off, and then he'll turn his light on, but just gotta respond to this one student. There's a assignment due at whatever time. I gotta just do this or release this on whatever avenue that he needs to put up on. Or sometimes he'll just tell me, "I just gotta go downstairs for a moment. I just gotta respond to him."
Yeah.
That's like, whenever he's on his phone, I'm like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, just responding to a
Teams.
student."
MS Teams.
Pretty much.
Teams on the phone, the biggest trap of all time. Ugh. No, it's the same. For me, I'll say the office is right next to the TV room in our house. So like the office is not in the basement. And so it's the same thing. It's like I just got to do something and I'll just get up and leave. And that'll be it. And if you can hear that in the background.
That's just my kids coming down. Give me.
Just leave it. Great parenting moment. Vince
Yep.
just ran to the bottom of the stairs and wagged his finger at them.
Yep, and it's like, go back on your tablet.
Okay. So last question about us before we introduce you to our tier list. So Sam, starting with you again, we would like for you to share something about Vince that our audience does not know about him. So give us some dirt. What's something interesting or weird about Vince that you want to share with the world? Please keep it professional, if you don't mind. Thank you.
So Vince is not a very tidy person, but he's a very clean person. So he has this thing where he's very particular about what types of where he wears what type of pants. So there are pants that he wears outside the house, or his outdoor pants, and then there's pants that he wears around the house. Those are his indoor dirty pants. And then there are pants that he wears only to sleep, and it only goes on the bed. and same as shirts as well too. So he's very particular about it. I thought it was crazy back before, but I guess now with COVID, it makes a little bit more sense. But he's so intense that our kids have learned, and they'll want to jump on our bed, and they'll be running, and they'll stop themselves at the bed, and they'll ask, "Daddy, am I clean?" And then he'll say, "Yeah, you're okay," and then they'll jump on.
Incredible. So does he? So the outdoor pants. So my question now, and this is an important one: where is the threshold with which the outdoor pants come off and the indoor pants go on? Like, are there indoor pants in the closet that he like changes in the doorway, or is this like where the outdoor pants like to the bedroom? Then you got like, where's the nexus of pants here?
So there's a bit of a gray area. So like right now, for example, he's wearing jeans in the house,
And he looks good too.
They are his outdoor pants.
No.
So this is
But I washed them on Saturday, and I only went to my parents yesterday. So today's Monday. So I've never really been outside the car or my parents' house. So these pants are technically fairly clean. Like I didn't sit on a bus, you know,
I don't know
like
if there's technically fairly. I don't know. This is getting hard to track here. So, but my question remains: you get home after a hard day in the IO3 lab.
Yeah.
You've been calculating hysterical error, right? Which is what I'm going to call it. And you get home. It's like 5:30. Just took the bus home. Yeah. When are the outdoor pants coming?
So I go
Right
straight.
away.
I go straight to my room. I guess the surface of my pants don't touch any other surfaces.
Okay.
And I take them off in my closet and I hang them up.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Like
Now,
right
are
away.
those outdoor pants only
Those
in
are
that
out.
moment?
Those are out. I wear one pair of pants ever.
Wait. So you own 3 pairs of pants?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Well-
indoor,
Okay. Yes.
indoor shorts, and then indoor bed shorts, and then outdoor pants.
Okay. So.
This is getting weird, right?
Okay, we can cut
He
this out.
also has shower slippers
It's true.
and then like slippers
Normal
around the
slippers.
house.
I mean that feels pretty
that's,
normal.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to slip in the shower.
It's true.
Okay,
Well,
let's
he
move
doesn't wear
on.
them in
Let's
the
move
shower.
on. The poor guy, he's sweating bullets over here. Holy cow. All right, Laura, your turn.
I don't
What's
have
weird?
anything like that.
Well, thank you very much.
No, but that's so interesting. Anyway,
Yes, no.
Thank you.
Way
Thank
to
you.
rephrase that. Way to rephrase that into an insult.
no, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Who's crazy now with COVID, right?
I've got it all. I'm depressed.
I have outdoor pants.
Okay. Laura,
Okay,
what do
honestly
you
though,
got?
I feel like we all kind of internalize that. We just don't think about it
Outdoor
in the
pants?
same way that Vince does.
No, man, I just throw everything in that one basket. I put on a tank top yesterday after I showered that was in the bottom of my hamper that the cat had been sleeping on,
Ooh.
and I have no idea how long it's been there.
That's a no-go.
Yeah, I genuinely pulled it out because it's gray and that's the same color as the hamper, so I legitimately didn't even know it was in there until the cat was sitting on it, and I went to look at him because he's the cutest, and I saw that he was sitting on a piece of clothing, so I took it out and put it on. So there you go. Not exactly. Okay. That's my own special brand of gross. So
Okay, so what's the question? Sorry, weird things.
yeah, we're getting a little sidetracked. Yeah, what's weird about me, or what's something that the audience doesn't know? Tell them what they want
I
to
don't
hear.
know if they don't know this because you probably just do this anyway on the podcast. But sometimes you break out into like pop culture references or mostly like Simpsons or Seinfeld quotes or something, and
It's true.
you don't explain it to your audience. So if they don't pick up on it, then they just don't get it.
Mhm.
So oftentimes you'll just break out into something, whether
Fair.
it's like a song from The Simpsons or whatever, and then I'm just sitting there left guessing, like, oh, is this one from Seinfeld, or do you think it's Simpsons this time? And then sometimes he'll tell me what it is. But I do know there's sometimes where my mom has been like, I don't know what this guy's saying half the time.
It's true. It's true. She's told me as much.
Yeah.
It's like I don't try to listen to you anymore. Yeah. Or maybe it's she tries not to listen to me anymore. I can't. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Or she just nods and smiles and
Yeah.
agrees with everything.
Laura's mom has the level of respect where she doesn't need to feel pressured to just nod and smile. She can just tell me as it is. You know, she says like, stop, just stop. You know? I'm like, sorry, Lee, can I get you a decaf? And she says, sure. Okay, thanks. That was super boring compared to Vince's, but you know, thanks for making me seem pretty normal.
Well, hopefully, you know, everyone learned something about us. So, I mean, this episode is our holiday special. So, our tier list this time around is about holiday activities. So, we're going to give you 3 to just rate on our tier list. The first one is outdoor activities, so like winter activities. How would you rate them? From F to S. Yeah, sledding, tobogganing, skating, building a snowman.
Snow forts are better than snowman.
Okay.
I feel like I might give it a C because they're not my favorite, especially if it's really, really cold. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a C. I don't spend a lot of time outside during the holidays.
Fair enough. Sam, what do you say?
I would give it a D, I think. Because
breaking my heart.
Well, we've got 3 kids, and it's a lot of work taking them outside. They're cold outside. You got to make sure you keep putting their hats back on and their mittens back on.
Well, no wonder they're cold.
They love it, so that's why it's not getting an E or an F, because they come back and they're like, "Oh, it was so much fun building that snowman," but then it's so much work having to clean up all the snow pans and all the liquid or the water that drips around with their boots and everything is messy. It's a lot of work.
Have to wipe the frozen tears of frustration off your face, you know, when you come in. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I would give it a D.
Okay. Mine is something that I'd be interested to know. So we have the classic family holiday dinner. So if you celebrate Christmas, this is the Christmas dinner with the family. You know, this is getting together. We're assuming pre or no COVID times. Okay, so this is actually happening. Get the extended family in from out of town. You know, so Sam, you can start. You can start with that one.
I would say, I don't know, A or B, or yeah, because
I'm living in the negative zone. I'm living in backwards land.
Only because I don't, as a nurse, I don't always get to be there, and so having to like know my schedule and having to plan around that and has made it really hard to be there for family dinners all the time, which is really sad, or having to go there after work, or having to like have dinner quickly and then go to a night shift. So dinners have kind of, you know, not been the funnest for me in that sense, but being able to get together with family has been nice. I mean, you know, with the restricted amount of people this year, but it's but I enjoy it. I don't like the food per se. Turkey's not my favorite.
Oh,
but...
don't even get me started. Don't
but
even get me started.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you made me sound like a huge jerk there. So yeah, thanks for that. That was great. Look.
I'd probably say A or B. I mean, well, okay, so no, but okay, so we host usually.
Yeah.
Or we have the past few years, and
for your side of the family.
Yes, for my side of the family. But I find that, well, okay, to be fair, I find I enjoy the family dinners where I don't have to prepare it.
There it is. That's what I thought was going to come up. You know.
So in that respect, then I guess my family dinner would be a B because I had to make it. I'm kind of sick of it after all day. But then, like, the ones I get to attend as a guest for your side of the family are great because I don't have to do it. But you still get to see all your family. I mean, even the extended family where you've got, like, prior to COVID, where we would have, like, 2 or 3 different get-togethers.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you look forward to seeing the people and hear what's new with everybody. And honestly, the COVID virtual ones are just not cutting it.
No. Yeah. Yeah, like, I was about to make a reference to Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons, but I'm not going to do that because now I'm self-conscious. So okay, so let's move on. It's Christmas and we're all in misery. There. Okay,
there
I said
you go.
That's fine.
And the last one, I guess we'll start with you, Laura. Do you enjoy holiday decorating?
That is an S for me. I decorate for
I
almost any
reap the
holiday
benefits.
that I can get my hands on. I don't know. I just like changing things within the house and making it festive. I don't know. I think it's fun for people that come visit or.
I will say that Laura does a terrific job. She has a clean palette, so like she prefers like whites and like even just tan color, like natural wood
Like
colored
neutral.
stuff for Christmas decorations, and it works well in our house. We have nothing against colorful stuff. It just that's what her palette is. And we've had people come in and they're just like, "Oh my God, this looks great. How long did it take you to decorate this?" And I just look at them and said, "Well, it didn't take me any time at all. I don't even think I was here." So Laura puts a ton of time into it. And cookies. Decorating cookies.
True. I enjoy decorating the house and decorating cookies.
So do you make a lot of cookies during this time?
Don't even.
Yeah, it's like I call it a cookie blitz. It's like either a whole day, like a Saturday or something, either November or December, and we freeze it,
Nice.
or this year I think it was like a 2-day thing, or at least my mom stayed over because we went into the evening.
So like sugar cookies, like
Oh
We
my
do
God.
sugar
All the
cookies, shortbread, pecan
Snickers
caramel
bars.
bars, magic cookie bars, beaver huts, which people know as haystacks. We've got the confetti squares you like that have the
Wow.
peanut butter in them and the marshmallows.
Yeah, we got score bars.
Score
That's a
bars,
10 out of
forgot
10
about those.
bar right there.
I don't know.
Sounds intense.
Getting it done. They asked me to help this year. I was there for all of 20 minutes, and then they just said, "Okay, you're in the way. Get out." So that was that. Sam, decorating.
I would give it an S as well too. I really enjoy it. I think it's also because it's something that I can have like full reign and control of. I can do it on my own timeline. I can do it like early. I can do it when the kids aren't around, and I get to make stuff and DIY stuff, which is fun. Yeah, give it an S.
Perfect. You ever get the kids involved with the decorating?
Yeah, they
Nice.
made
Like
those
these
little
things?
snowflakes.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Paper bags.
Oh, paper bags. No, these are some.
Yeah.
This is good snowflake tech, man.
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school, we didn't have 3D snowflakes.
Yep, and I do zero work, just like you. So.
Nice.
I
Well,
mean-
that's because we're too busy answering emails.
Yeah, I mean, I help with the fake Christmas tree.
Oh,
I put the star up there because I'm the tall one, right? So there you go.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Yeah, we like the. We have a fake tree for upstairs. We like to get a real one in the downstairs, which usually means we get it from my parents' cottage. But then we are restricted to only trees that are growing close to the hydro lines, and then we can only take the top 6 feet off of that. So usually, if our tree has more than like 8 branches, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. So it's a classic. So all right, you made it. That's it. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add in before we call it? All right. So congrats and all the best. Sam, all the best. Laura, I'm sorry in advance for whatever I'm going to say on the car ride home. But you guys did great.
Thank you so much. And I guess we see you all the time.
Yeah.
So. I hope our listeners enjoy listening to our wives. So there you go.
10 out of 10.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoy our interview with our special guests as much as we enjoy them. So,
And we do
Um,
all the time. Good times. Good time had by all. The company is great around here.
exactly, yeah. And as always, we're doing our tier list, and to stay on our holiday special theme, we're going to talk about Christmassy things or holiday things, and pretty much just holiday traditions around this time of the year. And the judging criteria is just how much we enjoy them, and that's pretty much it. It's very subjective as usual, and so why don't we get started? Jake, what are your thoughts on Christmas sweaters?
So anyway, so I guess we should say that this is going to have it's stuff that you do, it's stuff that you eat, it's stuff that you like, whatever. There's like no tying thing. It's just if it has the word holiday or Christmas in it, or it happens during December, and then it's the thing. So I have some Christmas sweaters that I love. So I like Christmas sweaters. I think Christmas sweaters are fun. I think it's a shame that we can't wear them a little bit more often. Like, for example, you see somebody wearing a Christmas sweater in January, you like roll your eyes a little bit, and that's a shame because it's a warm and fun thing to do. It's by no means like the be all end all. So I'm going to give Christmas sweaters like a B. I have a couple of Christmas sweaters that I'm very happy with. I have a New Jersey Devils Christmas sweater that I love. I am yeah. The look on Vince's face right now says it all. I'm a Devils fan. I'm a Devils fan from when I was a kid. So I played goalie as a kid. Big Martin Brodeur guy. Love Martin Brodeur. Love the late 90s, early thousands squad, Scott Niedermayer and Stevens and Patrick Elias, Snipe and Ched. And like they won a Stanley Cup in that time, or actually I think they won 2 Stanley Cups in that time. But I'm going to second guess myself. And they were just, I don't know. I liked it. I liked Brodeur as a kid. So now I'm still a Devils fan, and they're just the worst. They're the worst franchise. Maybe not as bad as the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, the Sabres. Okay, so funny story. I like a few years ago, this is not to do with Christmas sweaters, but I got a Christmas gift from my brother-in-law who the Christmas gift was tickets to see the New Jersey Devils play the Buffalo Sabres. This is like 2017 winter or something like that. And so he got us both a ticket, and that was my present. And then we drove down there in his Ford Explorer to watch the Devils play the Sabres. And it was the worst hockey game. The Devils lost 2-0. So at least the home team won, I guess. So like that made it kind of a little bit better. The arena was pretty nice. I liked the arena. It was cool. It's just like, it was the worst hockey game. I think the Devils had like 14 shots on net or something. Like it was so bad. So anyway, my other Christmas sweater is a Super Mario Christmas sweater, which might be my pride and joy. It's got like a big knit Bowser like coming out of it's in the theme of Super Mario World. So the Super Nintendo version of Super Mario, that's the animation style. So it's got bullet bills. It's like a Bowser's Castle Christmas sweater. So it's got Bowser and Super Mario in a cape, and then like the patterning around like the collar and the cuffs and whatever is all bullet bills and bombs and thwomps. And it's all like the enemies from Super Mario World, which I love it. I love it. So Christmas sweaters, I like Christmas sweaters. So there you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to talk about the New Jersey Devils, that's the only team I could think of when you talk about New Jersey Devil, the 90s Brodeur, Niedermayer.
Right.
I mean, the past 20 years has been forgettable. So,
sure has. Oh, they did have a run to the finals in like 2014 as the 8th seed in the East, and they lost to the LA Kings, the 6th seed in the West. Yeah, but they did have that run, but like, they're terrible.
That's the Jonathan Quick.
That was the Jonathan Quick
Kopitar team.
Quick, yeah. The Devils went down 3-0 in that final series, and then they won the next 2 in a row. So at least they made it respectable, but they lost in game 6.
I mean, Devils plays boring hockey, right? Ever since Brodeur's day, they just play defense right now. So
not recent. Like it's interesting, right? Like so, there were a couple of years there in like 2018, 2019, where the Devils had they were scoring like 4 goals a game. Now they weren't winning any hockey games, but they were scoring a lot of goals, right? They had Taylor Hall won a Hart Trophy for MVP at 97 points that year, or something like crazy high, and like they were actually outputting some offense. But I guess it goes to show that you can't have everything. You can't have a team that's defensively minded and a team that's offensively minded, because they still didn't make the playoffs. So.
Yeah.
Is there a more storied career of somebody who just gets the shaft on like chances to be great than Taylor Hall? Like poor Taylor Hall, right? Like, has he ever, he's never made the playoffs. Like he played for the Devil, he played for the Oilers. Oilers are just a gong show, at least. And they were. And then as soon as he leaves, the Oilers get Connie McD, right? So now all of a sudden, he could have been on a power line with Connor McDavid. He goes to the Devils. He played for the Sabres for a while. He plays on the Bruins now, I think. Who knows? But poor guy. Geez.
It was brutal. Yeah.
Got stepped on in the head in warm up once when he was in his second year in the league, and had get all these stitches.
And remember that year when they were drafted, Tyler or Taylor, and then now they were both. I mean, right. So, anyways. In terms of Christmas sweaters, just to preface this, so I was born in Hong Kong. I came here when I was 9. I have no idea what Christmas. I mean, I know what Christmas was. I mean, I grew up in a Christian family, right? But I knew what Christmas was, but I didn't know any of the Western Christmas traditions. So when I found out about Christmas sweaters, I was probably like a teenager at that time, and I just thought it was weird. I don't own any Christmas sweaters.
We have to fix that.
And as my students know, I got called out on this one. I wear the same sweater. I mean, I wear the same clothes every day. And they're like, why do you wear the same hoodie every day? And I was like, well, it's literally what's in my closet. And so
I do laundry every day. Thank you.
I mean, I do laundry once a week. I wear the same pair of jeans and same sweater for 7 days a week, and then I just put it in the laundry, and then I wear the same thing again. Anyway.
That's incredible. I had no idea.
So Christmas sweater would get. I'll give it a D because I don't. I guess I get it. I mean, it's nice. It looks comfortable. It's ugly. But people seem to enjoy it. But yeah. I personally don't have any, and I don't think Sam has any. So again, maybe things have to change. But yeah.
Now I'm going to say there's 2 tiers to the Christmas sweater, even, right? There's 2 variants. Oh God, sorry.
That's fair.
Sorry. There's 2 versions.
That's a trigger word. Okay, so
there's 2 versions of the Christmas sweater. There's the print Christmas sweater, which is just like a sweater with ugly patterns printed on it, which I don't respect as much.
Yeah, that's not real.
And then there's the true knitted like Christmas sweater, which is what mine are, both of them, including the Super Mario one, which is like, that's what makes it even better. It's like that coarse knit like pattern. And like that's the one, to be fair, that's the one that gets a decent grade for me. A printed Christmas sweater, sometimes you can get funny stuff on it. Like I have a buddy that has one that says son of a nutcracker. And I have another friend that says Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Because of course, everybody loves Christmas Vacation. But yeah, I think the true knitted ones are the best ones, but they're also kind of like rare and expensive. So moving on. So that's a B from me and a D from Vince on the Christmas sweaters. Another tradition that we all know and maybe love, maybe don't love, are those awkward family Christmas dinners, like where you have to like travel around Hell's Half Acre, as my dad would call it, and like, you know, go to all your like extended family Christmas dinners. So I want you to just pick out a typical Christmas dinner with extended family. That's what we want to talk about right now.
Yeah. So granted, all my extended families are around Mississauga, so that's good. We don't need to travel. I think I enjoyed a lot more when I was a kid. I think you just enjoy Christmas a lot more when you're a kid.
It's Christmas and we're all in misery. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But I mean, I like my cousins. I mean, I only have a pair of cousins that are here. I'm an only child. I don't have.
Are they super cousins, Vince?
No, they're normal cousins. They're on my dad's side, and so it's good. I mean, once I got married, we have to go see both sides of the family, and the food is usually good. We usually try to have the Canadian experience. I guess we get like yesterday we had a turkey, like the smallest turkey you could think of. It's like 3 kilograms or something. It looks like a chicken, the one we had yesterday.
Okay.
Ham. I like ham. And then a couple of the year before COVID, we actually had my family over and we played like minute to win it games, and that was fun. And nice. so things like that, like so I'm not super sentimental. Sam is very sentimental. Like she really enjoys like Christmas time and Christmas dinner and all this stuff. So I have to give it a B. I think it's just a good time to get people over. That there's like my family's relatively small. There's no real like awkward family dynamics or like weird. You know how some families have like.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that, Vince.
Like that one uncle that like nobody likes, but that they have to invite. Like I only have one uncle that's here, so it's like it is what it is. I think the best food I had was we had hot pot one year, which is like an Asian thing. Where have you ever had a hot pot, Jake?
I have not.
It's like fondue, but like we put meat in it.
Okay.
Like it's like a big pot of hot water, and literally you just put like meat and stuff, and you like eat. We enjoy that. Like so as kids, I think we did more of that kind of stuff rather than like the turkey. I don't know why. Like nobody in my family likes turkey. Like yesterday, the comment about the turkey is like, oh, it's not dry, so it's decent. You know, like
I think turkey is an overrated meat. It is an overrated foodstuff. I said this yesterday. I'm glad to hear you say it, truly, because like I said yesterday to Laura, I was like, turkey is fine, but like it's not that good. You know, I'm sorry.
The best turkey I had was at Sam's aunt's place. We ordered one that was smoked, and it was good. It was good. Anyways, overall, the food is usually meh, but like you don't go to a Christmas dinner just for the food. You go for the family.
Yeah.
And I would give it a solid B.
Yeah.
So.
I think for me, I totally agree with that. It was better when you were a kid. Like when you're a kid, I actually genuinely look forward to Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner every year. It's like the highlight of the year, just because you get to like mess around. And like, my cousins and I have a lot of cousins on both sides of the family. My mom has 12 brothers and sisters, so I got a pretty big extended family on that side. And my dad has 3 brothers, so and one of them had 4 kids that are all around my age, right? So I've got a pretty big extended family, and that's a lot of fond memories for me. Nowadays, it's a little bit more painful. There's a little bit more family drama, which I just try to stay out of. But it doesn't really work all the time, which is too bad. But still, some of my favorite things to do, even as an adult. We did some Minute to Win It games last time. I did a Christmas dinner on my mom's side of the family, which was I think it was in Brampton or Burlington, around there. They like in the condo building of one of my aunts, she like rented the downstairs room. And like the other thing that my extended family loves to do is play cards. And so like, it's just an excuse to get around a bunch of different card tables and to play euchre. We love to play euchre, for example. And I think that's a lot of fun. I like to play with my cousins. I like to play with my uncles and my aunts and stuff. And that's something that I still very much value. I value that time to play cards. I think it's good. In terms of the actual dinner, yeah, I could take it or leave it. I really could. The concept of like turkey plus potatoes plus stuffing plus corn and carrots and then like gravy. I was just like, I've had enough of that. 2 years ago, we always host Christmas for Laura's family at our house, just because, it's kind of central and there's not that many people. It's just usually her mom and her brother. And that's who we had on Christmas Eve this year. And we did the full turkey dinner this year, but last year I made like prime rib.
Nice.
And then like next year we're planning on having like macaroni and cheese or something like that. Cause like I make like homemade macaroni and cheese and it's good, and I like, it doesn't need to be turkey dinner. It was this year, but it's not my favorite. So yeah, I agree. I'll give it the B. I really do value the family time quite a bit for different reasons now than when I was a kid. And I don't see people very much anymore. Like, man, I remember as a kid, we used to have like Sunday dinner at Nana and Grandpa's, like my dad's side, like every Sunday, like, or at least it always seemed like, cause it's a big family, there was always a birthday or there was always a something, right? So it's like every other Sunday or every Sunday we would always go. And we used to like, that's where I learned to golf, like in their front yard. And, that's where I learned to play tennis. They had an asphalt like tennis court in the back with like a net set up, and we used to like mess around there. And I have a lot of really fond memories of that, but we don't really have that anymore. My grandparents moved out of there, and now my Nana lives in a condo in Toronto, and it's like totally different, right? So
yeah,
I like the Christmas dinner if it brings people back together, because it gives me a glimmer of what I had when I was a kid, right? So speaking of things that we do with the family, so there's a couple of subcategories to this next one. Oh wait, is it your turn? It's your turn, right, to do the next one?
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so like you said, there are subcategories. The main category is gift exchange, right? And the subcategories like gift exchange just with the family, and then there's different types of games like Secret Santa with your friends, or White Elephant, or whatnot. So, what are your thoughts on gift exchange under those categories?
So I like gift exchange. It's better to give than receive, and I truly believe that. I like the number of times that I've been like super thrilled about gifts that I've been giving, and like I've been more excited to see people open that than to open anything myself. And that's 100% sincere. I think it's great. Laura is amazing at like picking up on hints, better than I ever am. So like we always have an elite present at like once a year for each person, like birthday or Christmas or kind of whatever. We'll have like, doesn't even need to be expensive, but it's like, that's like hits the money spot. And we've been doing a really good job. So I love gift exchange. I'll give with the family an A. I like gift exchange with the family. My family is very generous to each other. So we give nice presents. We get nice presents. It's a good feeling. It all kind of comes out in the wash a little bit, except for my parents. They spend way more than the kids do, but whatever. They can afford it and I can't. So Secret Santa, I think, is dumb. I don't like Secret Santa. The end. I'm going to give Secret Santa an F. Secret Santa is like, I don't like, what's the point, Vince? Like, what's the point of Secret Santa? It's like, just so that we have a reason to like get together in the office and drink for one day, like to like open our Secret Santa presents. Like, what is actually the point of that? I don't get it. And like, there's nothing worse than pulling somebody on Secret Santa that you just don't know all that well. And I'm just like, what are you going to do? Like, do you really need another like $50 LCBO card or $25 like Apple iTunes card? Like, no, nobody needs that. So just forget the Secret Santa. Like, I don't feel the same excitement about Secret Santa. Once in a while, you'll get somebody and you have just like the perfect gag or like a joke gift to give them, and then that's fun. But I don't know. And like White Elephant, or we used to play Sinterklaas, which involves a die and like rolling the die. I find it takes a very long time. I'm fine with it, but it is kind of fun to like see where your gift ranks and like how much people want it or whatever. I don't know. So I'm gonna give White Elephant or Sinterklaas a D, just because it's not as bad as Secret Santa, but it's still pretty painful and I don't care much for it. So there you go.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite of you. Like I don't like gifting in general. Like I mean, my family's not a big gifter, and Sam like let me have it every time. Not just Christmas time. Any time there is occasion for gifts, she's just like, no, like she is really into gifting, and
Yeah.
she's exactly like what you're saying, right? Like she likes to think about what other people would like.
Yeah. This is why I like Sam more than I like you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no
Thanks.
problem.
And like she would picture how that person would open the gift. So like she would wrap it in a certain way so that when they open it, they'll see it in this angle first.
Oh,
like
wow. Now that's pretty.
Like she thinks about all those things, and I'm just like, why don't you just get them like a gift card? Because they could buy whatever they want.
No, see, right there. No. If you're going to give a gift that's a gift card, PSA, just don't do it. Okay. Yeah. Just don't do it. Either get them something or give them cash, because what's better for buying whatever they want? Cash. Gift card is the worst gift. Okay. In terms like, and I say this, and I full well know that people are going to like listen to this and like they've given me a gift card, and I don't want to disrespect it, but like it just seems like the gift card, right? It's just like, it's money, but it's money you have to spend in one particular way. It's just like, I feel like it would be more versatile if you just made it more open-ended than that. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to like ostracize people that have given me gift cards in the past. And I don't mean to like upset anybody, but like, I don't buy gift cards. I don't buy gift cards. Let's put it that way.
We buy gift cards for our kids' teachers.
That's yeah.
Anyways, with the family, so like I would give it an A. Like although I'm not a gifter, like I like it. I think I think for Sam, it's very stressful in terms of like what we need to get. Not so for me because I just rely on Sam to get gifts. And I mean, Sam would ask me, he's like, "What should we get for your parents?" I don't know.
I get that way. If there's somebody I don't care about, that sounded bad, but like if there's somebody that whose gift is like, I could, I don't have any special idea for this person, then I'm just like, I don't know, like we can get them something.
So I think the idea of gift exchange with the family is good. Like we were at her aunt's place with her grandparents on Christmas Day, like seeing the kids opening presents. It was great. My family or my parents were over with us, just like let's just say this past Christmas, my mom is really into crocheting, and she crocheted like an Olaf snowman, like from Frozen. For those who don't know who Olaf is.
For those of us that are listening that have no idea what just happened, the hand movement that Vince just made while describing crocheting was unbelievable.
But like when Naomi opened it, like she was genuinely like excited, like her face was all red. It's like, it's Olaf. Like, so I think those moments is the A moment where they're like, wow, it's so good. Like I said, Christmas is much better for kids. I don't get that way in terms of gift. I think I did get that way when I was a kid, but as like seeing people being very happy with your gift, especially with the family. I think that's an A. Secret Santa, I'm with you. I mean, I haven't done Secret Santa since I was very, very young. No, I mean like teenagers. But yeah, I don't understand the point. You usually get things that you don't want, and then you also get things that people don't want usually.
Well, that's just it, right? Like that's the whole purpose for me. That's the most validating part of giving gifts is that, and it's absent, right? So
yeah. So that's an F. White elephant, I would also give it an F. Like it could get like if your gift is the one that like nobody wants, it could. It could get pretty nasty for you. So
a funny version of white elephant that I like to participate in that we haven't done in a couple of years is some of our family friends do this thing called 12 Beers of Christmas, and they have a house party and like before Christmas or whatever. And what you do is your admission to the house party is that you bring either 12 like regular cans of beer or like 6 tall cans, and you just go to the LCBO and you just buy whatever, like could be anything. So, and like sometimes people like put a gag in there, they like put something like awful, or they put like a Smirnoff Ice or something, like a tall can of that, and then you wrap them right in wrapping paper, and then you bring them, and then you put them all in the fridge or you put them all outside. And then everybody, when you go to get a drink, you have to go take a can that's not yours. So you have to take a wrapped can that came from someone else, and then you unwrap it and like see what you get, and you have to finish it before you can go to the next one. And like that's the best Secret Santa that I've been a part of in forever, because it's hilarious, right? So I think that's kind of fun. So shout out to Neil and Nina for their 12 Beers of Christmas party. I think it's a great time, and I miss it very much. I'm hoping that we can do that again someday. So all right, about halfway through here. So this is a quick one, Vince. Advent calendar.
Yeah, so we actually did one this year. We don't like the chocolate ones. I never had Advent. I didn't even know what an Advent calendar is until I was like maybe like 3-4 years ago, when Sam introduced me to the idea of Advent calendar.
I was today years old. Okay.
So we got one this year that was Lego.
Nice.
So every year, every day that they would open up, and then they get this little pack of Lego. We have a lot of Lego this year.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that idea. Yeah.
And the kids love it. It's Lego Friends. It's like I don't know, little Friends figurines or whatnot. But the kids love it. We this year also with the Advent calendar, Sam made these like ornaments that are called like Jesse tree ornaments. Like there's like a little Bible story on every day. And so we coupled that with that, and it was a good tradition that we're starting apparently. we'll do every year. So we'll pick another advent calendar next year. I don't know what it's gonna be, but this kid seems to like it, so I'll give it a B. I think it's just like it builds anticipation for the kids to get
Right.
into Christmas. Yeah, but overall, I mean, I like it wasn't a tradition where I grew up with, but it's I mean, the kids seem to like it, so
Yeah.
it will be a B for me.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have kids. So the advent calendar kind of rings a little bit hollow. We get a nice advent calendar from my mom every year. It's got chocolates in it, like good chocolates. And like we appreciate that. Laura likes to eat the chocolates. The act of opening the window to count down Christmas. I don't really count down Christmas because it is associated with me with exam season and just like everything, all hell breaking loose or whatever. So I don't know.
It's the worst time of the year.
It's pain. It's just painful. So the advent calendar for me, I'll give it like a C minus or a D. Like I'll give it like, I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't see the excitement. I don't mind it. And I think it's nice. It's a nice gesture, but like, I don't need to open presents every day or like open a chocolate every day or whatever. But I've kind of always been that way. Like when you're a kid, if you ever get like a Kinder Surprise or whatever, so like it comes a little toy, like I could not possibly care less as a kid. Like I can tell you with confidence that I just didn't care about like seeing what the toy was, or even like a Happy Meal toy. Like I don't know. It just doesn't really resonate with me.
I only eat the Kinder Surprise for the chocolate. Who cares about the toys?
It's decent chocolate.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is just winter activities. Building snowman, going skating, going sledding, those things. Ooh, yeah.
Some of my fondest memories is outdoor activities during Christmas time. And like nowadays we don't get any snow, but don't worry, Vince, because global warming is not a thing. But anyway, so we don't have any snow to do over Christmas time. I could take it or leave it with the snowman. My buddies and I would always used to try to make the biggest snowball we possibly could, just to see how long it would take to melt in the spring. See if we could like get it past May to like melt this giant snowball. So we would get like we would have like 5-6 guys like trying to roll this giant snowball to make it bigger and bigger. So that was fun. I love tobogganing though. I love sledding. We used to do some amazing, like we don't do it anymore. We're like adults and we're too big, but the snowmobiles at my parents' place up north, like there's a lot of like open land. And we have some newer snowmobiles that we take on rides, but we also have some like old beater snowmobiles, and we would tie GT snow racers to the back of the snowmobiles on a rope and just rip around the fields at like super fast and like try to like stay on this GT snow racer. Or we would tie 2 GT snow racers equidistant behind it. And we would do what's called GT wars, which is somebody would drive the snowmobile and then the other 2 would just fight. And the first one to fall off, whoever is able to stay on like wins. And like my brother has an incredible scar on his eyebrow from like where he like ran into the back of the snowmobile once because he was too busy celebrating after he knocked me off that he went right into the back of the snowmobile that had stopped. And it's incredible. And we also live on a cliff, or like the cottage is up on a cliff. It's not like a lake cottage. It's more like a farm, I guess. It's like lots of land. But it's up on a cliff, and the access hill to the cliff is closed in the winter because you just can't get up it. It's too steep. But it is open as a snowmobile trail, so the snow is always nice and packed down. And so it's about a mile long, this hill, and it like twists and goes around. It's very steep, and we would just like go tobogganing down that and have somebody on a snowmobile to drag you back up to the top. And we used to always have a competition. Like the purpose of the run down the hill was not to get to the bottom first. It was to be the only one to get to the bottom. So like if you ever got ahead, you would like slow down and try to like kick the person off as they went flying past you. And like we would go like 50 kilometers an hour because like people would be on the snowmobile like behind you just to see how fast you were going. Like you could rip down these hills, and they're all like, the ditches are deep and full of rocks and like snow, and it's great. I loved it. So I'm going to give winter outdoor activities my highest grade because honestly it is so. And like, I love skating and stuff too, but like based on that experience, it is my favorite thing to do in the snow. So there you go. It's my top grade of S for sledding in particular, but outdoor winter activities, big fan.
Sound very unsafe.
Oh yeah. Well, It is. But,
So winter activities, I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to skate, but I don't skate. I used to love going out and build snowmen, and I think for sledding, we didn't do much of it when I was a kid. But I mean, who doesn't like playing in the snow, right? I think as an adult, I'm a little bit more of a grumpy old man now. But I like. I think I like the idea of just going out with the kids and just sledding and all that stuff. Coming home with a cup of hot chocolate and just sitting there and melting or I guess de-icing or whatever, thawing, and all that stuff. I would give winter activities an A. It's fun. Like you said, there's not a lot of snow, which is disappointing. But when there is, it's a lot of fun. And
so here's a question. I asked earlier in the episode, like at the very beginning, is there anything more of a come down than Boxing Day? And then you told me it's Naomi's birthday, so I felt like a total jerk. But so here's another one. Is there anything more depressing than the first day you wake up as an adult after a heavy snowfall and your first thought is not excitement, but it's dread instead? Because either you got to commute or you got to shovel it or whatever. There's a tipping point, right? Like there's a point in your life where you wake up and you look outside and there's like 1.5 feet of snow. And instead of saying, oh my God, it's a snow day, or oh my God, it snowed, and blah, 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 you say, oh, fuck. Right? Like there's that.
Yeah, like so if it snows a lot during like the winter break, it's completely fine, right? Like if it's a Christmas day, like perfect. Let's go out and have fun. But if it's like a work day, exactly what you're saying, right? Like it's like, oh,
the worst. Yeah,
I gotta wake up at 5 to like shovel this driveway so that I could drive to work for an 8:30 lecture, or things like that. It's just like
pain. Yeah. It's painful. So here's it's so depressing. So here's another question. Let's say that we do have online school, except maybe it's like hybrid. Okay. So let's imagine for a second in the winter term, it's like hybrid school. If there's enough snow that they close the university, will you still do online classes? See, this is what keeps me up at night. You see,
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Would whatever the university tells me that I have to do, I will have to do.
No, see,
I would prefer not to, but then it also screws up the whole like scheduling. I'm like, oh, now I gotta double up on my lecture and like talk fast.
Yeah, but that was always the case, right? If there was an actual closure, right? So my question is, if there's a school closure, right? Would you just say like, oh, we're just going to do an online class? Or would you
if the school is closed and be like, oh yeah, like school is closed.
Yeah, me too. I want that to be very clear right now that like, I'll put my money where my mouth is. If there's ever a school closure, even during hybrid learning or like online learning, I'm not doing class. Screw it. Because if there's a school closure, I got shit to do, man. I got to shovel, I got to like deal with all this garbage. So yeah, I'm taking the day off. Snow day is a snow day to me, and it will always be. So there you go. I'm glad.
I remember in university, maybe like 2007 or 8, or no, 2007 maybe. Like we had like 3 snow days in 1 year, and it was like this one day that was like super icy. It was fantastic. It was great.
Yep. I remember because that's where I lived at my house. I remember once I shoveled the driveway like 4 times in 1 day during a snow day because it snowed so much.
As a student, you had to shovel as a student?
I own the house.
That's fair.
So and I shared driveway with the world's greatest lady, Anne Morlock, lived by herself. Still does, but she was a shared driveway with me, and like I would shovel, and like my housemates, we would get out there and shovel. Yeah, I don't know. I would see students out there shoveling all the time when I was at that house. So,
granted, I didn't have a car, so I didn't care. So I just like walked out and like,
we had a car, but like even still, it's mostly just about accessibility for the mailman and stuff. And like I didn't want Anne shoveling. Like I would rake her leaves and stuff too. I do everything for her, so I love her. Yeah. But
see, anyway. That's why the in winter activity gets an A and not an S, because of all that thought behind.
but even still, even shoveling or whatever, like my dad has a snowblower, which, as I learned recently, is like coward Canadian strats apparently. But I'm getting a snowblower too because I want to be, I don't have a big driveway, but I want to be the guy that gets up at like 5 a.m, like you said, when I know it's been snowing and I want to like blow out the sidewalks in my neighborhood. Like I want to be that guy, right? I just want that title. I want to be the dude that blows all the snow off the sidewalk so you don't have to shovel and like does the neighbor's driveway. I just like, it would give me such deep satisfaction. And I have access to a snowblower because Laura's mom has a snowblower that her dad used to use because they got a huge driveway, but it just sits there unused. So I'm going to take it. So like, I'm not going to buy a snowblower, but like, I just want to have it so that if that chance comes right in like February, that I'm ready to like be the guy on the Canadian Tire commercial that turns on the pot of coffee, goes outside, blows all the snow, comes back in, pours a cup of coffee at 7 a.m. and listens to the radio about how bad the commute's going to be. You know, that's what I want.
And then you go coach Timbit hockey.
And then I go coach Timbit hockey. I did coach T-ball this year, right? So
there you go.
That's.
But what's the etiquette? Like, at what time can you turn on that snowblower and then people won't complain about the noise?
Great question. Great question. I think for snowblower, 6 a.m. You get a snowblower going at 6 a.m. I think more people appreciate what you're doing because like there are people out there shoveling and like starting their cars and scraping stuff off, right? So I understand that's a little bit noisy, but I think 6 a.m. for the snowblower. Later than that for the lawnmower. There's no excuse. You don't need to get that shit going until like 9 o'clock. But snowblower, I think people know that you need to get out, and that especially if you're going to do the sidewalk for them or whatever. That I think 6 a.m. is fine. It's a good question though. I hadn't thought about that. Speaking of which, last one from me here. Do you like watching Christmas movies, Vincent?
I mean, I don't. The only Christmas movie that we would watch probably is Home Alone.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. The first two.
Joe Pesci's finest role.
The first two. We were trying to find I mean we could put up a Christmas movie, but it's never really a tradition for our family. So I would give it like a C. Like it is what it is. A lot of Christmas movies aren't great. So,
Hallmark movies, as they call them.
Yeah.
Laura loves to watch a Hallmark movie. I won't be caught dead, right? I won't be caught dead. I would rather, rewatch the story to Halo 5 than freaking a Hallmark movie, man.
My parents love Hallmark movies. But anyways, it's a C for me.
I would say it's a C too. I don't watch a lot of movies. Like I don't rewatch a lot of movies. I watch a fair amount of media, like movies and TV, I guess, but I don't rewatch things very often. And so I have trouble with Christmas movies because you always want to watch the same one. I would say for me, it's Christmas Vacation. I probably quote Christmas Vacation way too much. There are some top tier lines in Christmas Vacation, and I like that movie. But is Christmas Vacation a good movie? Not really. But do I like it? Yes, I like it because of laughing about it with my dad. I don't know. It's like something that it's very rare that my dad and I agree on movies or music or TV or anything like that. He's a very different person when it comes to that sort of stuff, but there are some things that we agree on, like, Treasure Island, like the old Treasure Island or Christmas Vacation. And so that's something that we can both relate to, or like Happy Gilmore. We both like Happy Gilmore, right? So
is that a Christmas movie?
No, but I'm just like,
Gotcha.
Hockey. So it just kind of came into my mind there when I was going through that. And then there's always the argument, like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Or whatever. And I don't want to get into that because I don't even really watch Die Hard. Like I've seen it once, so I see the memes, I see the jokes, but like, I don't know, but I agree. C.
All right. Last one. Are you someone that put up Christmas decorations?
I am not. Laura is. I feel like the answer with you is going to be very similar. So I do not care for decorations. When I was in undergrad, I would put lights on my house just because, it's a new house, you're a new homeowner. So there's a lot of pride there, I guess, like homeowner's pride. So I put like lights on the house. I don't mind decorating a tree. Like, I don't mind getting a tree, but I'll be honest, our house is spectacular. Like the decorations in our house are fantastic and very clean and very like attractive to me. There's not a lot of hokey Christmas stuff in our house because Laura is a very like chic decorator sort of thing. So like we got the winter theme, but not a lot of reds and greens, but we have a lot of like whites and like blues in our house for Christmas. And she does a fantastic job. Do I care? I mean, I like it. So I guess I care a little bit. Would I care enough to do it myself? No. And she knows that, but she doesn't complain. So Christmas decorations for me, I'm going to give like D, mostly for the activity. I don't really care to do it, but am I against it? No. It looks good, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exactly the same way. I mean, we don't put up lights outside. Sam really likes decoration. We bought a new tree this year. I think we don't have real trees. We buy like a plastic tree. But yeah, we bought a new tree. She was very excited about that one. It comes pre-lit, so we don't even have to.
We have a tree, a pre-lit tree for the upstairs room here, like by the TV. That's nice. We usually get a real one for downstairs, but they were so expensive this year.
I heard, yeah.
And like,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, she's really into it and she loves the DIY stuff. So I would give it a C. She
Fair.
Like same with you with Laura. Like Sam does a really good job. No tacky things. My kids really like those like the colored lights, but like Sam does not. Like she just wants the white lights.
Yeah, the white lights are critical, you know.
Yeah, any like blue and red and green, like those lights are brutal.
Yeah. And like there's nothing wrong with that. I think Laura would say that Christmas lights outside that are colored can be fun. She likes the whimsy of outdoor, like if you have trees outside or on your house, but we don't have any like tree outside or well, we have a little tree that maybe we can put some lights on, but we like the colored lights outside, but inside, like on the tree, it's white or go home for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. Or it ruin all the decor at home. But shout out to those people that put up crazy like lawn decorations.
Displays.
Yeah, it's like we went to one that had like crazy blow up stuff and all that stuff. So we literally just drove around and looked at different Christmas lights around the neighborhood.
My friends got tickets, so we went. There was 6 of us to the Royal Botanical Gardens. Had like the outdoor winter wonderland light show winter walk thing. It was pretty good, like I don't know, there was some lights that were like super intense and some lights that I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but it was nice considering we don't do it ourselves, and it was a good excuse to go for a walk with some friends. So I would recommend to anybody that's interested. It was like a $20 ticket or something like that, and it took like 2 hours to walk through it, and it was fine. It meant I didn't have to do it myself, right? So
yeah.
How do you feel about projectors, Vince? Like, like the ones that they project lights onto the house instead of like stringing up real lights, they put up like the starry like projector thing.
That's a no-go for me. You usually just really distracting, and I find it kind of tacky. Like unless you get a really good one, which I've never seen. So yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jake?
No, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just wondering because that's always like an alternative to stringing up lights, right? It's much easier. And the projectors you can get nowadays are very good, right? They can be very good and nice. But yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. I feel like our opinions on all of these things are going to cause a rift amongst listeners and or our friends. They're going to be like, oh, I like green and red Christmas lights. And I'm like, yeah, well, for the record, that's fine. Like
your house is fine. Just don't put it in my house.
You can do whatever you want. I'm glad that you like to do what you want, and that's fantastic. But
I'll come to your house and I won't judge you.
Yeah. Ooh, I can't believe you put a nutcracker there. Like, oh my God. My mom has like 1 trillion nutcrackers. It's a little bit scary. She has like a display of them on the front mantle in their main house, and it's a little intimidating. I'll be honest with you. She's got some
nutcrackers are like gnomes to me, like
gnomes. Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Shall we take a quick break and wrap things up, sir?
Sounds good, man.
Thank you. All right, Vince, we made it to the end of our Christmas episode spectacular. Congratulations.
Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed our little banter about the holidays and enjoyed our special interview guests.
Yeah, yeah. Which of course at this point is the cat's out of the bag. But thank you to both of our special guests for doing such a great job. And considering we're recording this before actually performing the interview, a little fourth wall break. I hope that it went well. So there you go.
I'm sure it will go well.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, we'll give you some ideas on the future. But first of all, Vince, you have an announcement to make.
Yeah, to our 2 loyal listeners that have been asking for a real podcast service. We are now officially on Spotify and Anchor. And I think Anchor is owned by Spotify. And that's the service that we use because it was free. Anyways, and it's also on Google Podcasts, and it will be on Apple Podcasts soon. Maybe even when we publish this episode, it will be on Apple Podcasts already. So we have made it in terms of the legitimacy of our podcast, because we're now on real podcast services, have a real RSS feed. So there you go. Beautiful.
And we will, if you're listening to this episode on YouTube, we will start to put the links to the episodes in downloadable form in Spotify and Google Podcasts and stuff in the description, right? So
and this will totally destroy our statistics and our analytics, because now we're splitting our listeners across the multiple platforms.
Hey, what statistics and analytics, Vince? is that 207 views on YouTube really that important to you? Because I question that, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some traction as we kind of go out there. Nobody has any clue. I looked for us on Spotify. I had to type in the full name of the podcast character for character. It's the only way it came up in the search, because it just tried to, I got this podcast episode from some German engineer on what is a heat exchanger at first. That's what I got. And I was I searched heat exchanger and I did not find us. So there you go.
Well, we need to get on the algorithm. That's the thing.
We do. How do you get on the algorithm? Do you mention things that are current topics?
I have no idea. Do they
if I just say Justin Bieber, does it pick up? Is it going to pick up on that and put us at the top?
Yeah, the Teen Babes or whatever.
Kim Biebs, unbelievable. Justin Bieber, God bless him, Canadian talent. Everybody loves Justin Bieber. Have you seen the commercials for Tim Biebs? So there's
I don't watch TV, man.
Well, okay, I don't watch a lot of TV either, but I do watch live sports. So I'll stream the football games and stuff. So I see the commercials when I'm trying to watch a football game or whatever. And let me tell you, Justin Bieber's acting chops for a commercial, not great, talented guy. I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I can objectively say that the acting chops for the Tim Biebs commercials are just not really there. So, I don't know. So yeah, there you go. We're on wherever you get your podcasts, right? Please rate and subscribe, and we will maybe put out another episode. When's that going to be, Vince?
Well, we're hoping to do it maybe before the reading week.
Yeah.
Late January, early February. And I don't even know what we're going to be talking about at that time. Hopefully not Rho or Sigma or whatever.
I think I went with the Tau. I wanted Tau or Chi, I think is the ones that I wanted. So the Chi variant is sweet, man. It's such a cool letter. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we'll have things to talk about in terms of how the term is going. Maybe we'll get back into talking a little bit about current events and some science. And now that the term with accreditation and our return to hybrid learning term is over, and we basically concede that we're going to be back in online form, we hope we can talk about that, I guess. But we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the news and what's going on in sports and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and we'll find an interesting interview guest for you all to listen to as well.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Vince, for your valuable time during the holiday season. Best of luck for the start of the school year, and best of luck and all the best for New Year's with you and the family too.
Same to you, Jake. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Bye.
Is my sound okay, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
you sounds great. I miss hearing your voice.
Now that'll get in there. I bet you that's what they do, right? Like they have a tone that they play, so that I
And
can.
then you're just looking for that tone?
yeah.
Instead of just
exactly.
you screaming?
Instead of just me screaming, yes, me screaming. It turns out that I scream a lot during these recordings, and so
So it doesn't really help.
doesn't really help that much. Or I get animated and I guess I talk in a high tone and then I'm just like, I don't know where this is. Oh no, it's me talking about how much I hate Clue. Okay, never mind.
She got poo in her underwear. Please don't say that in front of the microphone.
That's it.
I said please don't say that in front of the microphone.
Oh my, too late, and that's it.
It's recorded forever.